They get to the free throw line as well as anybody in the country. In fact, as a team, they have the third most free throw attempts nationally, behind just South Florida and Florida International, but they don't make many of them. Just a 65% free throw shooting team that's near the bottom of the conference. Jalen Sanford gets the runner to go. He's got 5.
Jalen's coming out looking to be real aggressive offensively there, and a nice little head and shoulder fake to get that drive open for him and hit the runner in the lane.
AJ Edu, the freshman in the game, out of the timeout for Toledo, along with Spencer Littleson, who started a couple of games earlier in conference play, and Dylan Alderson out there as well. Alderson didn't close out on Ron Montgomery, who missed the 3 anyway from the top. And it's interesting to see Alderson out there. He did not play at coach's decision on Tuesday at Kent State. Sanford missing the jumper. Alderson, though, kept that alive, and a fresh 30 for Toledo. Sanford lost the handle en route to the basket. It was tipped out of bounds by Central Michigan. You and I have talked about this a lot the last couple of years, what makes Jalen Sanford such an effective player offensively. He is constantly in motion.
Perpetual motion. I mean, he's always moving away without the basketball. He's improved dramatically in his time here, his ability with the basketball to get open. As we see Nate miss that little short shot, but Jalen is just he just continues to work at his game, day in and day out.
It's been a rough start for Larry Austin shooting the basketball. He's missed 3 of his first 4 shots. Unlike a lot of point guards we see these days, he doesn't take a lot of threes. He's only attempted 14 all season long. There he jumped a pass intended for Spencer Littleson.
I think what impresses you most about Austin is what we're seeing at the defensive. When we see him jump the passing lane on that one cross-court pass, he darn near got that one, and he's very quick once the ball leaves the passer's hand of jumping in front of his man.
Larry Austin, a grad transfer, born in Springfield, Illinois. Has spent time at both Xavier and Vanderbilt. Didn't play a ton at either school before heading north to Mount Pleasant. That did not take a deflection, just a pass out of bounds from Jalen Sanford. Gino Davis said earlier this year, I really wish I had another year with Larry, because when you think about it, sure, he's a senior, but he doesn't have a ton of college games under his belt. Man, he has put on a show so far this year for the Chippewas. 17.6 points a game, 5.6 assists and rebounds as well. To the rack goes Ron Montgomery.
Created off the Austin drive. He drew 3 Toledo defenders to him and allowed him the ability to dump it off to Montgomery, and really he was able to get it up before AJ was able to come over and block that shot.
Toledo, a tough start to this game offensively. Just 2 of 11 from the floor, and that's an offensive foul on AJ Edu, taken by Montgomery.
Montgomery really sold that there. He moved his feet, and again, I'm not sure if AJ's strong enough to really move Montgomery out that hard at this point, but he dropped his shoulder into it, and it's going to go the other way.
Matt Beechler is in for the first time for the Chippewas, a sophomore from Lowell, Michigan. Gives them just over 5 points a game. There's McKay down the lane, got it to Dance Home.
Time and time again, you see Central Michigan looking to drive through that lane area there, and they're very good at it. So it's really going to have to keep the ball out of there. It's going to pose a lot of problems defensively if they can continually get it in.
Alderson trying to swing it through traffic to Littleson. There were bodies in the way, though. Here comes Ron Montgomery. Central Michigan team that plays at such a quick tempo and making it rain from the outside. David DeLeo.
It's kind of a delayed transition. Toledo was really back with their numbers, but he got a good look at it.
Marion Jackson, they left him alone. Couldn't convert, almost thrown in by Edu. Picked up under the bucket by Kevin McKay. Really impressive start on the road here for Central Michigan. That shot was affected by Edu, one of the leading shot blockers in the Mid-American Conference. He has 3 games this year already with 5 blocked shots. Littleson, a catch and shoot 3. 2 for 14 from the floor. The Toledo Rockets the first 7.5 minutes of this game, and that is totally unlike one of the best shooting teams in the country.
Well, again, a couple of the shots maybe they'd like to have back. We talked about in the Keys getting great shots, and a couple of those might be ones in hindsight they'd like to pull back to him.
DeLeo twisting, turning, and scoring.
How about the next game? So you got to look, and Central has to be in their crosshairs tonight.
So it's Central Michigan ball out of the timeout. We've already seen them go through one scoring drought of 3 minutes. Haven't scored now in the last 2:35. Somebody has to get going for them. Larry Austin has had a really tough night, just 1 of 8 from the floor, 2 points. He is on the bench for the moment. Here's DeLeo off balance. He was fouled by Littleson. And you see Central Michigan going with Innocent Nwoko out there, the 6'11" redshirt sophomore, to try and combat some of Toledo's height, you would think.
Well, yeah, certainly. We saw him trying to start sneaking weak side help there in that last several offensive possessions for the Rockets, trying to combat Kanapke in the post. You know, with his height, it will help and allow them to be a little bit more close to closing out on the perimeter shooters. Yeah, Central's got to find some offense here from somebody.
David DeLeo with a pair of free throws. He has 7 points. That allows Central Michigan to get into that full court pressure. Spencer Littleson, a guy that provides a ton of energy off the bench for the Rockets, but a little too much energy on that pass.
He had that one high and outside and just beyond the reach of the 6'8" Navigado. And Nate wasn't able to catch up. Right idea, but just poor execution.
The Rockets getting a little bit sloppy. 3 turnovers in the last 90 seconds.
When they made that run and cut the lead and took the lead, they weren't turning the ball over. They struggled to start the game. I think they had 3 or 4 to start, and then they corrected it, and then they kind of have gotten lazier with the ball here these last few possessions. Central
Michigan much slower offensively with Larry Austin on the bench, and that's a long possession that ends in a turnover. Dylan Alderson, a transition 3, a little long, and pulled down by Kevin McKay.
Good look for Dylan there. The ball moved around. Littleson got it to him in a good stride. He just wasn't able to knock it in.
Bullet pass down low to McKay. Nwoko had it swatted away by AJ Edu out to Beechler. Wouldn't go for 3. Toledo fans happy with the defensive effort, and a foul called on Central Michigan. Going to get Nwoko for his first.
You know, I think they're starting to come to expect and appreciate AJ Edu's timing on the defensive end and his ability to swat those away. And he certainly has shown a real ability to do that early in his career.
We've seen Toledo teams in the past few years with shot blockers, but I'm not sure we have seen a Toledo team that has 2 of them.
Well, and then you forget about Willie Jackson, who I think is leading them tonight.
Yes, very true.
And he's
call
not
it 3 then.
He's not your prototypical shot blocker, but he has the ability to just elevate beyond belief. So, but AJ is just and Luke both are, and I'm sure they're making each other better in practice by pushing themselves at it.
Edu left alone from the outside, off the heel. Going to get Montgomery, I think, for going over the back.
Well, I think he pushed Willie Jackson, and Willie had position on him and was going up. And had he not had that push, we might have seen one of those power thunder dunks that Willie's shown a few of here, because he just kind of pushed him right out from the arc of the rebound. Austin is just so quick on those passes. He had a good chance to get that one, too.
Marion Jackson, 3 from the top.
Probably since late December, Marion's been shooting the ball as well as any Rocket playing.
Midway through the non-conference season, the coaches sat down with him, made him watch every shot he had attempted this year as Beechler hoists one and cannot answer. What they came up with was that when Marion was finishing high, those shots were going in. When he wasn't, they weren't. And now those shots are going in. He'll try another one. That one was left short, tipped around and grabbed by Austin. See if he can provide a spark for this CMU offense. Beechler almost traveled with it. In the end, he turned it over anyway. Jackson, baseline jumper goes.
Well, I like it so much when he turns and faces in that short post from about 12 to 14 feet, and he has such options. I almost expected him to drive the baseline that time. I thought he was open, but it's nice to see him hit that little jumper, and that certainly has added to his game.
Yeah, he is really diversified on offense. Roundtree into the paint, denied by Littleson. Tapped out near midcourt. DeLeo had it for a moment, and a foul is called on Toledo. Could go on either Jackson, Marion, or Willie. Marion doing a few push-ups. 2:49 left in this opening half. The foul was on Willie Jackson, his first. Back to Savage Arena in a moment. The Rockets up a half dozen.
There's no rhyme or reason to so much of this, and you know, if you could put your hand on it, you probably could make yourself some money just because of, you know, there's no explanation to the way some of these games play out.
Larry Austin's free throw shooting struggles continue. He has missed all three he has attempted. Now he's 1 of 4 from the line. Chris Darrington is out there now for Toledo, the native Toledoan and graduate transfer from Tennessee. I think you and I were both surprised we did not see him before halftime. We are unsure of the reason, but he's out there now. It's a guy that can give these Rockets instant offense off the bench. He's averaging 9.9 points a game despite only getting just under 16 minutes. Active hands defensively from DeLeo there to force the turnover. Todd Kowalczyk won't be happy with the Rocket giveaways tonight. How about that move to the basket from Larry Austin?
Well, the giveaway and then the poor transition defense. Austin really got the ball in one dribble there, and Toledo wasn't prepared to play defense that time, and they gave up the layup.
Todd Kowalczyk wants his team every game to have 10 turnovers or fewer. They have 9 already tonight. The drive and dish from Littleson. Blocked from behind, a foul called on Romello Burrell.
Great court vision by Littleson there to find AJ, and AJ was just a little slow getting it off, and it gave Central time enough to recover, but he's a pretty decent free throw shooter, so it's not a bad thing getting him to the free throw line either.
AJ Edu, the well-traveled Rocket freshman center, a 75% free throw shooter. His mother is from the Philippines, his father from Nigeria. He was born in Cyprus, grew up in England, and now playing college basketball in the United States while representing the Philippines internationally. There'll be a quiz on that later, by the way.
You lost me like way back when.
Played in the FIBA Under-18 Asian Championships in Thailand over the summer, averaged a double-double there.
Most importantly, he's got Toledo across that uniform on his chest. So.
Indeed. Dallas Morgan missing the three. DeLeo missed with a follow-up, and going to get Edu, I believe, for a foul in the paint.
Well, he'll come with age with that. He got blocked out the first time and wasn't able to get position. And he's got to learn on that second shot to work himself around, get inside position, and clear out on the next one. And he just got caught sealed on each one of them.
Now, what's the discussion here? Shot clock should reset. Just how they drew it up on the inbounds. Everything except the missed shot, of course. Picked up by Edu. Austin punched it away in a fresh 30 for Central Michigan.
Austin sure has a nose for the basketball.
DeLeo missed that off the heel. That was an NBA three. Central Michigan just 3 of 11 from beyond the arc. Toledo 3 of 15. Sanford to the cup. That one popped out. Edu got a hand on it. There's Sanford with the offhand. It won't go. DeLeo comes away with it, and Sanford commits the foul.
Sure looked like Sanford drew quite a bit of contact on that one.
Fouls piling up in the second half for Toledo. That's their 5th. Just the first on Sanford. This, by the way, Jalen Sanford's 120th start for the Midnight Blue and Gold. He has been really, really durable throughout all 4 years here in Toledo. Austin spinning into the paint. Nice feed. Somehow found Romello Burrell, and he drives and throws it down.
Burrell created that with the head and shoulder fake to get himself going. Drew the defender up, and that created the seam for him.
Sanford.
That was pretty deep himself from Jalen. That was way out.
Nate Navigado thought he deflected that off of Sean Roundtree. Marion Jackson, Willie Jackson both come in for the Rockets. Interesting, it's Navigado and Sanford who will both sit. Evan McKay and Matt Beechler come in for CMU. Not a lot of bench production for either team, just 10 total bench points. Part of that you would think for Toledo, only having 2 points from the bench right now, being that Chris Darrington didn't play before halftime. He's a guy that can light it up in a hurry. We mentioned he averages just under 10 a game. He had 21 in a loss to Buffalo earlier this year. Roundtree. Good defense by Edu. It will stay with the Chippewas.
Once they get beat to that front line of defense, you can see the help defense coming, and that's the way to kind of combat that pressure from the drive off the perimeter.
That's now 9 blocks for the Rockets in this one. Rob Montgomery couldn't hit the three that would have tied the game. Here comes Marion Jackson for Toledo. He's had kind of a quiet night to this point. Just 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Jackson, the step through. Touch wasn't softened up, but the tip goes.
How about the quickness off the floor for Willie Jackson? He goes up and down. And that's, again, Toledo slow getting back in transition. AJ gets the block, but Toledo got just what we were warned about, that transition. You can't rest on your laurels at the one end. You've got to get back and get in position.
Third foul on AJ Edu. That'll get Luke Kanapke back to the scorer's table. Rob Montgomery at the free throw line. He shoots at just 56%. Jalen Sanford has had a pretty nice game for the Toledo Rockets in this one. We mentioned it a couple of times in the first half. There were stretches, especially in the first 10 minutes of this game, when nobody but Jalen Sanford could score.
Exactly, and he was doing it both from outside as well as inside. And then we've seen here in the second half where he's actually found open teammates a couple times to create for them. So he really kind of put the Rockets in stretches on his back offensively. As we see Kanapke there in the background, he's done it as well somewhat during this stretch. But they're going to need all hands on deck this last 8 minutes. Central's not going to go away, and they're a fight of a basketball team.
Jalen Sanford, the senior, trying to will the Rockets to another home win. That's an offensive foul, a moving screen set by Larry Austin.
Really kind of set up by the Toledo defense. They were aggressive at the handoff in the weave, and it looked like Darrington was trying to actually jump the handoff and as kind of hedge over the top of that screen and really kind of created the foul.
Chris Darrington, a guy that can be a very good ball handler for the Rockets. He can take the emphasis off of Marion Jackson and Jalen Sanford a little bit. That was kicked.
That was a kick.
Nothing too philosophical about that.
No, that was easy. The raise of the leg.
I'm sure officials everywhere wish they were all that easy. Sanford from the corner. Edu, the offensive rebound. Navigado will try one. Still cannot connect. Missed all 7 of his shots tonight. Austin finding the trailer. That's Dallas Morgan from the top.
He's now hit a couple from, I think they gave him a 3 and took it away to 2 maybe in the first half, but he's knocked down a couple of long jumpers here tonight. So
Navigado got the handoff. He drives, couldn't flip it in. Edu tried to keep it alive, very nearly did. Ended up being picked up by Roundtree. Entry pass in transition, batted away by Chris Darrington. There he goes to the bucket.
Chris knows where to take it as he puts it off the glass. And once he got it in transition, you knew where he was going to get it right to that rim.
He's a guy, the way he plays, he'd be right at home on the Central Michigan team. One of the things he really excels at, he puts his head down and drives. He called is called for the foul there on Roundtree. He bumped him. That's the 7th on Toledo, so Central Michigan now in the bonus.
I like the way Chris hedges over the top, or gets over the top, not really hedges, but really gets over the top of that ball screen, really contesting the dribbler, making him uncomfortable. Even at 25, 26, 7 feet away from the basket, he's not passive out there on the ball.
Big-time character, too, Chris Darrington. Mark Kowalczyk says the guys really love him. Roundtree, got the members bounce off the top of the backboard. Austin and Roundtree, the highest scoring backcourt in the Mid-American Conference at 33.3 points per game. They've been held to just 20 collectively tonight. 11 for Roundtree, 9 for Austin. Roundtree got him ball. That one looked a little bit better. And it's a 2-point game.
A little more traditional, and it gets Central into that press to trap out of the free throw, which they love to do.
Almost forced a couple of turnovers there before the Rockets could get it over half court.
Kind of a scrum there, but the Rockets gather themselves now, can run their offense.
Edu set the screen for Darrington. He'll go past Burrell, initiates contact. Offensive foul, wipe it away. Larry Austin stood in and took the charge.
We saw the tail end of it there, and it's going to go the other way to Central Michigan.
Toledo, we've said, so good at home, 9-1. Central Michigan 4-2 in true road games. Well, this is a team that has grown accustomed to playing in hostile environments. Austin spinning. It's good defense by Littleson. Got the offensive rebound. Stripped on the way up by Darrington. Austin still battling for it. Foul on the floor against Toledo. Going to get Spencer Littleson there. Right there.
Before or after the walk?
Before, I suppose.
I get, according to them.
Yeah. We've talked about Larry Austin's free throw struggles. 1 of 4 tonight, just 54% for the season. Got that one to go. And one more would tie it at 60.
In these tight games, free throws so often turn the tide.
Edu with the rebound. Austin punched it out of his hands. Morgan off the heel. Tip won't go. Here's Austin again. No! Edu fouled on the way down.
Austin doesn't quit. He certainly was persistent in that, and the Rockets are going to have to match that intensity.
That's 10 offensive rebounds in the second half for Central Michigan.
We talked about at halftime the differential in size. Now really the Toledo is making a difference on the offensive glass, and that was just all about effort on the Central Michigan part.
Yeah, the Chippewas are really wanting it right now. Both Willie and Marion Jackson along with Luke Kanapke will come back in for Toledo. McKay back out there for the Chippewas. They do a good foul shooter at 75%. He's now 3 for 3 for the game.
And both teams are inching close to the double bonus here pretty soon. And actually, I think Central might already be there.
Second one swirls out, run down by Rob Montgomery. He has 4 fouls. So does Larry Austin. That's something to keep an eye on for the next 5.5 minutes. Toledo, nobody with more than 3, incidentally. Here comes Austin down the lane. Ooh, it's a foul on the Toledo Rockets. Third on Marion Jackson. Now Kanapke can come back in. Don Kowalczyk isn't too happy.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Shooting 2-0, Larry Austin Jr.
You know, we even starting out that second half, we start talking about the offense and the high potency of both teams, and this thing's going to end up in kind of more like a Clydesdale as opposed to thoroughbreds down this last 5 or 6 minutes.
I was going to say that this whole game has been kind of like a rugby scrum more than anything. Austin hits the first free throw. It's been tough. It's been physical.
And for as poorly as Austin has shot free throws coming in, he's knocked them down here in late going. He's kind of